title of my speech is We Are the Sword. We are the sowers of the seeds of truth, but the living seed. So I'm going to start by reading the parable that Jesus had told his apostles. In fact, it was the first parable that he used in his teaching mission. It is when he decided to use parable to teach. And if you go back to the URANTIA book, you will see that he exhorted his followers and his disciples and his apostles to use parables as a way to teach. Now, anyone here can tell a story. You probably told a story to your children. You probably tell a story to your wife sometimes, or your wife tells a story to your husband. You probably tell a story to your friend. Well, you could use story to teach something. You want me to speak louder? Okay. So the parable of the sword, here it is. The sower went forth to sow. And it came to pass, as he sowed, that some seeds fell by the wayside, to be trodden under foot and devoured by the birds of heaven. Other seeds fell upon the rocky place where there was little earth. Immediately it sprang up, because there was no depth to the soil. But as soon as the sun shone, it withered, because it had no root whereby to secure moisture. Other seed fell among the thorns, and as the thorns grew up, it was choked, so that it yielded no rain. Still, other seed fell upon good ground, and growing, yielded some 30-fold, some 60-fold, and some 100-fold. And I use this parable because I believe it addresses itself to us as the one that's carrying the lights, as the one that we're supposed to be the salt of the earth. So I made copies of this parable, and I put it in a nice parchment paper with a picture of a sword. And I made copies of it for everyone, in Spanish, in French, and in English. So after the talk there, I'll have someone, and you either pass around those parchment paper with a parable, and you can put it in your home there, in your office, or your bedroom, or wherever, and read it regularly, and ponder on its meaning. And if you go back to the URANTIA book about what happened after Jesus read that parable, you will learn that many of them have different ideas about its meaning. I'm not used to read a speech. I'm very uncomfortable reading something. I'm kind of a living thing. I like to let myself go as what I feel. But for this occasion, because it is so important, Pamela asked us to write a speech, so I'm going to read my speech. But I might add a few things to it. I will start by saying that in the foreword of the URANTIA book, on the second chapter of the foreword, the revelators inform us of their main objective. In fact, they call us our endeavor. I say it is our objective. And it is to expand cosmic consciousness and enhance spiritual perception. Now, we have to understand what that means. And if we concentrate our effort only on studying the life of Jesus, we'll miss a whole panel of what this cosmic revelation means. That means that we need to know everything that we can about the whole width of this revelation. In the publication mandate, the revelator instructs us to create thousands of study groups and train leaders and teachers. UAI did not invent this. I did not invent this. But I truly believe that when they gave us the URANTIA book, they knew how like children we are, how little wisdom we have, and how we fight for little things. So they gave us some basic instruction on how to go about this revelation. And I believe that if you read the publication mandate, well, you will gain much wisdom from it and a way of teaching to others. Today, most, if not all of us here are part of this worldwide association, which is UAI, who has for its mission to foster study of the Urantia book and to disseminate its teaching. And UAI, that's in our charter, shall create opportunities for the development of teachers and leaders through the natural evolution of learning through doing. Through doing. Through doing. Am I pressing hard enough on doing? I'll change the word to doing to serving. To serving. Remember what Jesus did with the apostles? He taught them something, and he said, go and teach others. Go and be of service to the others. And the next day they came again, and they again learned. And they went out to teach. And what did I say this morning that I learned from this name, the translator that was here, Robinson? To teach is to learn twice. Certainly, when we joined UAI or found the book, did we little realize the importance it had for our world, and accordingly the role we could play in its mission. How many of you, when they found the Urantia book, knew of its mission? Probably none of us. We knew we had something, but we didn't know how far it would reach. How extensive was this mission? We probably thought, what is this crazy book about? You know, I was even mad having read it 2 years after, because I had to change myself. I didn't like that. Since the Urantia movement began to organize itself in 1955 with the creation of the Urantia Brotherhood, a few serious attempts have been initiated to train teachers. Out of these initiatives, not many survived the test of time. The first school, initiated by Sadler, lasted 3 years, I think. And there was no more students after that time. Out of this school came out some workbooks that are still available through the Foundation website. There have been other initiatives or internet sites dedicated to teaching, but so far we have not yet witnessed enough tangible result to satisfy our expectation of what it is exactly that it is doing. Is it really doing the job of really teaching? In our present day world and cultures, the concept of teaching and teachers is very much a specialized domain reserved exclusively to those who made it their life work and are accredited as such by establishment in place. And most of us, this is what we believe. We're not teachers. No, because in our mind, we believe they're in school or university. So we think we have no right to teach. Don't let yourself be fooled by this. We're all teachers. When it comes to religion, when it comes to religion or spirituality, our mind turns automatically to who? To priests and pastors, acting within them as guide, counselors, or teachers. You know, for spiritual teachers, we usually think about religion, priests and all. We don't think we could be a spiritual teacher. Oh no, not me. How can I say I'm a teacher? Well, you might do that while you're living. We have naturally evolved our view of educational responsibility and concept based on our own experience with education, whether secular or spiritual. Today and in the following days, we will be telling you that you can be a teacher. that you have been teaching for a long time. This might be an unsettling thought for some of you, but be reassured. We have all within us the ability to teach. In fact, if we can learn, we can teach. God has put those two things together. If you can learn, it's because you can teach. Or else you will not be able to learn. It's part of the process. Does it not say in the URANTIA book that we have not learned something until we have taught it well to someone else? It's very important we remember this. There are many ways to teach, but I'm not here to talk about these. Others after me will be doing that. In fact, I will be teaching you about different ways to teach and disseminate. What I want to talk about is the signification of the word teacher, and teaching mostly in relation with the URANTIA book. There are many readers who believe that teaching should be left to other generations of readers. We don't know enough. Next generation. Others that we are not yet ready to teach, and more time should be spent on reading and studying. Some are strictly opposed to any kind of training of teacher, probably believing it would create some kind of priesthood. A few believe that teaching should be left in the hands of experienced teacher or to such people who hold academic degrees. In the publication mandate, the Revelator instructs us that an early publication of the URANTIA book has been provided so that it may be in the end for the training of leaders and teachers. They go on to say that the book is being given to those who are ready for it long before the day of its worldwide mission, and thousands of study groups must be brought into existence. Some might not believe in those directives, finding them too restrictive or dogmatic. But for many of us, they make a lot of sense, because they give a real and profound meaning to our mission while providing the wisdom necessary to build something much greater than we can ever imagine. The future is not open to your mortal comprehension, but you will do well to diligently study the order, plan, and methods of progression as they were enacted in the earth life of Michael when the Word was made flesh. That is part of the publication mandate. If those who are ready for this revelation are not us, then who are they and where are they? Are you those people? Are you?
Yes.
Are you the one? Yes. I'm still hearing some. I'm not very sure about what they're doing here. You know, you have to go with this full way or you don't. Either you decide you're going to be one or you step aside. You cannot be half of it. Jesus would not have any of that. No lukewarm people. We need a hot, hardcore people ready to do the work. This is what it just requires of us. If we're to achieve our mission by other means than training leaders and teachers and creating study group, then what would be those other means? You ever thought of that? How would we do it if not through study groups and teachers and leaders? UAI is not a social club. It is not a social club. I repeat, it is not a social club. If you want to belong to the Rotary, that's a social club. The Optimist, that's a social club. The whatever is other, there's all kind of social club. You can go there. But we might be social, but we're not a social club. We are more than that. We are an organization on a spiritual and intellectual mission to expand cosmic consciousness and enhance spiritual perception through the orderly and organized dissemination of the teaching of the URANTIA book. We have to define new meanings for the word teacher and teaching. We have to find new and better ways to disseminate the teachings. We have to reclaim our responsibility to share those teachings in a personal manner, one-on-one, instead of relying all the time on mass media. The internet could be a blessing, but it could be a pain in the neck. Sorry if I say that. Too many people rely on electronic means to do the work they should be doing. That won't go. You have to be out there. You have to be the one to talk to those people. You have to be the one to transform yourself. You cannot sit underneath a computer or behind it and wish that the world would change because you communicate through Facebook. Or it's not that it's not good, but it won't do, I don't think, what you think it should do. You don't grow exponentially by just sitting at your